to Plato's Rationalism, our discussion. I think this is our 6th week together, and we are discussing Plato's Rationalism. What did you see in the slides when you engaged those? I see only 2 hands up, and it gets me, my thing about that already. We all have access to the resource tool. You've all gone there to look at the slides. That, or you are all expected to have gone there. I want to know what you saw. Didn't see anything? Armstrong, Udru, Ajay, please, what did you see in the slides? Thank you.
Okay. Hello, doctor.
Hello, sir. Morning.
Good morning. Okay, so according to the slides I read and then the research that I did concerning the rationalism was that Plato answered the question, it is possible to have, and he answered that yes, it's possible to have knowledge or to know knowledge. That is one research that I did. That is the one question that he answered concerning Plato's rationalism.
Yo, sir. Thank you. Can I have any other person? I see 3 hands. Let me call Bernice Adoko. Adoko? Should be Adoko, yeah. Bernice Adoko. Please go ahead, Bernice. Unmute and tell us what you saw in the slides.
Madam. Hello.
I can hear you, Bernice.
Madam, it's talking about rationality. Plato was in the view that true knowledge is possible if we so reject the knowledge because he talked about the innate knowledge. So he was of the view that if we have true knowledge, it's inborn. So that makes Plato.
Thank you, Bernice Adoko. Can I have Collins Dakon? Ayem. Did I pronounce the name well? No, I think Collins Dakon Amos Nate. Very good. Collins Dakon, please tell us what you think makes Plato a rationalist and why. Forget about the why. Tell us what you saw that makes Plato a rationalist. Collins Dakun, please, are you there? Amos. Amos, are you there? Dennis Muller, go ahead. Amos is absent. Dennis Muller, go ahead, please. May I know what the dead silence is for when I call you? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, my dear.
Okay, according to Plato, his justification of acquisition of knowledge, he believes that we have the knowledge of forms already before we are born into the physical world. It's just experience that remembers us of what we already have in mind.
Very good.
So
keep going.
Our senses,
Mhm.
senses and the experience, and that's when we remember that we already have that knowledge in mind.
Mhm.
Yes, madam, that's all.
Thank you very much. That was a very good effort, like all the others. Why are your hands down? That's what I don't understand. Because you know this. It does. You see, there's something called class assessment. We assess the class, not individuals. So the posturing has to be right. I've told you, it's part of the training. Philosophy is not just read. You don't read philosophy. You do philosophy. You do it. It's an activity. It's a question, accent, examination, evaluation, reflection. You see, engagement. You argue. So you have to learn that. It's part of the skill. You can't be a lawyer that goes to the court to go and sit and watch. Lawyers act. You are actively involved. An investigator, you are a policy maker. You can't go to a meeting and be seated. United Nations representation. When they say, so why do you have traveled all the way there? They are seated. Parliamentarian, yes. No. You see, so the posturing has to be right. It is not a question of the people don't know. It's a question of, I don't know, say, then it doesn't speak well of the class. You have to be proactive. So unless you don't know, if you don't know, well, but you know it. Okay. So I'm trying to help you here so that the image you project is a class that is on its toes. It knows what it is doing. And this class, I know you from level 100. This is Gifty, Adobua, and Jude Nate people, that class. You are not daft at all. You're very smart. I don't know why you come to class when we are the people are seated. Uh-huh. It's not nice. So when we go and we are making a case and saying, oh, no, 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 that city campus class, it's like, oh, we going good. If that is how you are projecting yourself, this is a mentoring input I'm making. It doesn't come out well. So the class reps or group reps, if you have any kind of representation, psych them. Okay, psych them. Like tell them that, oh, but this way you're going to talk. Raise your hands, then now there are plenty hands. I don't know who to call. That is what it is good for the class. It really helps your colleagues who didn't read. They'll say, but I think it was like it's only me that was seated there. Okay, so have that posture. The slides have been given. I'm just saying, what did you see in the slides? Okay, you raise your look. I think I saw that there's a discussion on Plato's rationalism. Like some of you have beautifully done. He will be called rationalist if he believes that we already know at least something before we even took on flesh. We just come into the world to remember. So Plato believes that knowledge is recollection. If that is so, then it means he believes that there is some knowledge, at least, that is acquired prior to taking on flesh. That is a priori knowledge. Okay. In fact, his is even what? Innate, inborn knowledge. Before you had eyes, legs, whatever, nose, mouth. I'm referencing the five senses. Before I had any of them, says uh, Plato, I could already know something. Then I'll have to be named rationalist for that. So that's what I saw. I know, no. Another person who raises a hand. You see, so the class is nice. Otherwise, you give yourself hope, you present an image that is not you, at least from what I know from previous years. And so I want to draw your attention to it. Have a very active participatory class. Don't leave it to only Emmanuel Tipila. Every day when I ask a question, his hand goes up. So I sent him a message. I said, I want to know you. Send me a picture of you. That is how you come for recommendation and you don't struggle. You will need it. Me, I'm not writing again, no. Unless I know the person. You have gone to bring your transcript. So what should I do with it? What has the transcript got to do with anything? You have to be engaging in class. It is important for you. Otherwise, I will not write. And if I won't write, you can imagine what it means. When I say if I will, even some of us who are so down to earth and accessible to you will not write. Then who would you want to write for you? From where? Anyway, so that is a sign, a word of caution, and a friendly advice. It's not a lecture because we are also course advisors. We tell you that to help you in the university. Do that in all the other courses you do in the university. Have a posture that is ready to respond. You also have something to say. Okay, Ethel, go ahead. Etebel, I think I pronounced it wrong. Etebel, Jesse. Tell me what you saw. Very good. I see quite a number of hands now. That's fine.
Okay, madam. Okay. So, madam, I heard that from the recording that
Yes.
the soul is free and attains uninterrupted and stable knowledge from reality when you die.
Very good. That's very important. Because I'll do the elaboration later so that it will be your own full lecture as well. But that is a very important point that Madam has made. Plato believes that it is only in death that true, uninterrupted knowledge can be acquired. Why would anyone think that way? When you played it, why would anyone, in their right frame of mind, have that kind of thinking? Let me see if Nana Yabua can help us there. Nana, go ahead.
Yeah, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Um, yeah, what I think about that is that Plato doesn't believes in doesn't believe in knowledge being physical. That we can go like knowledge being physical, that we can get hold of knowledge or something of that sort. But he believes that the proper knowledge is the being which cannot be seen. And then we already grounded that the mind parts of the human system is what cannot be seen. And then Plato attributes that to um, like the proper knowledge being the being or the mind.
Very good. So if you hear your friend, of course, he didn't respond directly to the death one, but it's a good feedback. So I'm going to let you do all your feedbacking, and then we can build on it to create the whole package for you. Very good. That is the class. Let's hope that you sail on like that. You don't trail. Now I can take Samuel Asante if you still have an additional point to make. I'm glad to take it. Samuel. Jude will be on standby. I've seen Victoria Kafui's hand up now. Very good. Go ahead, Samuel.
Okay, so Plato said we already have um the knowledge a priori. That's knowledge without our experience, but through the through birth, through the trauma of birth, we lost that
Yeah,
knowledge. So
very important.
as we are born through experience, as we like um live through having experiences, such as maybe like having experiences, we the knowledge comes back, like beauty and the rest. So we already have that knowledge, just that we forgot it because of the trauma of birth. So as we come into contact with some things, that knowledge comes back from
Very
it.
good. So as we see, as we hear, as we touch, as we taste, those are the five senses. As we smell, we remember beauty, for example. We remember goodness. We remember, I tell the concept more. Remember what the real form of a table should be by looking. As soon as we see a physical table, then it helps us remember the original perfect form of table that we forgotten. That's why we don't call table mango. Says Plato. Very good. Thank you, sir. Remember, it doesn't originate from the senses, but the senses help us remember. So it says like a switch or a trigger, something that triggers it. But the origin itself is there. Okay. Thank you, sir. Let me now take Victoria Kafui, if Vicky has something to add.
So according to
knowledge is inborn and is triggered by our senses because we might have forgotten through the trauma of birth. And so the whole process of acquiring knowledge is termed recollecting. And then he also said that the only way we can gain true knowledge is when we die, because at that point we'll be out of our body. And so our body or our senses would not interrupt the process of gaining knowledge. Since sense experience cannot provide us with any guarantee that what we experience is in fact true or really true.
Very good. That was a very good input. It just sums up everything nicely that others have said. So something interesting though that Victoria said, she said, when we die, we would have left our body. Plato will so much agree with you. We, the real we, would have left. Just like our friend Christian Achus himself has left. What is left is his remains, his mortal remains, the physical body. That right now, if you slap, it won't do anything. If you are the sister who wants to go and derail him from his life partner, you want to move him away from his chachiko. When you go and remove everything, all your clothing, and stand before him with all the fine body you have, he won't see. Bring all the cash in the world to come and tell him that, Charlie, me, I be the don. You are going to show your pride for him to feel like he's nobody. He won't feel it. Excuse me, with all apologies to you, class, go and stand before him and flash. He won't smell it. Because the real him, this is Plato, not church. I'm not at church. I'm talking Plato. The real him is gone. And Victoria captured that nicely. If someone is speaking this way, like Plato is doing, he's rationalist. He doesn't think there is anything essential to this physical body of yours. The essential you, look at the word I used, essence, not the accidental you, so you're level 100. I'm sure you heard a lot in the recorded session there. Not the accidental you, the essential you is not physical. And that ties in well with what? The thing about death. Death here, if you're a Christian, you know we talk a lot about die to the self. And the day you eat of the fruit, you shall surely die. And yet Adam was walking around after eating it. Did God lie? No. But did Adam die? Yes. But was he walking around? Yes. So that you would see some connection of a kind when we say people are dead. Look, this world there are dead. God sees only two people, Adam and Christ. Finished. So if you are in him, then I'm seeking faith, not philosophy. Just to show you a parallelism of what Plato is saying. So he's not saying philosophers want people to go and die, as in a physical death. No. But the day that you get physically, this physical body separates from what? The non-physical self, there is jubilation. I said, watch our Nigerian movies or Kumawood movies. The day the person dies, then we see the supposed soul or spirit of the person. The person now knows who killed him or her. The person can be here 1 minute, the next minute is in the hometown, hundreds of kilometers away. The next minute he has traveled to America to go and chase the guy who, why? Because there's a certain assumption, there's liberation. You are free now to know without any obstruction. Okay, let me allow you to speak and then we can go through the slides. But you got the class has covered everything that you can pick, at least as we have discussed, you can pick to determine or to show that
Hello, Doc.
Plato is rationalist. Yeah, go ahead, Jude.
Hello, Doc.
Go ahead, Jude. Go ahead. Please go ahead,
Okay,
Jude. I
so
can
Doc,
hear you.
after I engage the video, so Doc, Plato, we cannot that we cannot know through our senses, because sense experience is what is corrupt, and is what let me say, we can doubt it. Just as you cite an example of seeing a pothole, then you get closer, then you see it's just a mirage. So we can't base our source of knowledge on senses. Yeah, because sense is what corrupt. And Plato also argued that, you see, our essence, our beingness is trapped in a container, which is what our body, through birth. That's what we are trapped in, what, in the body. And
Yeah.
mostly situations trigger our, let me say, the knowledge, the innate knowledge we have. That through sense experience, it helps us recollect, reflect on the innate knowledge we have. That sense also, let me say, plays a part in recollection of the innate knowledge we have. But sense is not the source of what, of our knowledge. That
Very
he did
important.
what Plato went on to what, to analyze that what, when a person dies, that's when the person is free from any distraction of what, of the world, the physical world, the body. That, you see, individuals tend to what, to be distracted by the body. The senses have influence on the person's what, the person's let me say, decisions. You see, sense experience actually help us recollect. But talking of what, of the source, we can't base our let me say, our source of knowing on what, on sense. Plato actually talk about the innate knowledge that we are what, we have a knowledge, we have knowledge which is what, inborn. You see, before birth, that we were trapped. You see, we are trapped in what, in a body. You see, and this body, through the five senses, help us to what, to reflect, to recollect on these knowledges that what we have. So he go on to let me say, appreciate the influence of sense knowledge, even though he argued that we can't know through the senses because of how sense knowledge is what, is corrupt, and we can't let me say, it can be doubted at any specific context or any situation. It is what, it is doubted. So I think, yeah, that's a few I can add. Sorry, I'm outside, so.
No problem. It was well done. Thank you. So, if you think that what Jude has recounted about Plato, and they are all correct, what he's saying are not stories. If you are reading Plato from his theory of forms to his republic to stuff like that, you know that he's capturing Plato's philosophies. If you think they are strange, hey, but what does the Christian Bible tell you about Paul? See how I say it, as if I'm not one of the Christians, because we are studying. So you want to be as objective as you can. Paul says, for me to live is Christ, but to die is gain. If I'm living, it is Christ that is living, not me. The day you hear that I'm dead physically on this earth, I have gained. What does that tell you? You should be thinking reflectively about it. It means that it is at that time that the physical container that we are so passionately concerned about, and we should, because insofar as your 100 billion cities is in an envelope, the envelope is important to you, even though the importance you accord to the envelope is because of what is in it. If I packed goodies for you after an event, a big time event. So we had some pastries, some chicken, some kebabs, some stuff like that. And then I was so instrumental. And so your lecturer is you meet and I said, oh, hold on, let me let them pack stuff for you. Then they pack it heavy and put it in a certain poly bag. You may put it down to help pack chairs, and then when you finish, you can't find the poly bag, the polythene bag. And you'll be asking, please, I put a polythene bag here. Please, have you seen the polythene bag? Oh, please, my polythene bag. You think it is because of the poly bag. When you get home crying, you remove the goodies from it, the poly bag will go into the bin. But you are so interested in the poly bag insofar as it contains the essential thing. That is why we have to take care of the body. We have to respect it, dress it, what have you. But if it is innate, back to Plato, so far as the body it has what? The soul or the non-physical part of us, the intellect, reason, it will continue to be a distraction. It is this. You see, as soon as you get inside with the envelope, that's the person dashed you the money with. You see how you tear the envelope, especially if you are really in need of money to do something before the deadline. Charlie, and God has touched someone's heart to bless you with some resource. How you will tear the envelope, you won't even take your time. You won't even take your time to open it gently and pull out the gadget. If it is wache that you're going to buy, how you remove the rubber and tear it here, and if it's granite that you bought, how you tear the rubber, tap, and pour the granite out, because the focus is not the rubber. The point I'm making then is, Plato says the day that we are able to separate physical from non-physical, whichever label you want to give to non-physical is fine. Some will call it reason, some will call it intellect, some will call it mind, some will call it soul, some say spirit, some say consciousness. Look at the different labeling. It's fine. In Plato's terms, it is more like an entity. So that's why we talk about it as soul or spirit, the non-physical world of reality. The day that separation is fully done is glory. And I'm telling you that, think of Paul, the Bible. Oh, wretched man that I am. Why? Two forces fighting within me. The good I want to do, I am unable to do. But the evil I do not want to do, that is what I do. Two eyes, two persons. The body is an obstruction. Now, how do we put flesh to that? You want to wait. Let's say you're a judge. You want to make a decision. And I think I referenced something like that in the earlier recording so that you don't have to listen to plenty recordings all over. You want to clearly, dispassionately judge and be fair. Deliver justice. This is a woman who has gone to pour acid, say, on another man. I want to now connect it to practical everyday life for you to see what is happening. So you want to clearly punish the one that has gone wrong and recompense the one that has been wrongly dealt with. But the sister who is at fault comes to court and asks the interrogator, she says, oh, Auntie Judge, look at my face. Now check. She has been beaten and battered and acid poured on her sideways. This is all I've gone through. Do you see what is happening? You are seeing, you will hear, you will touch. I like the examples with someone who has gone on waiting, for example, and then just when he or she is coming down from the mountain of holiness, you meet a sister who has done that. Showing, I say who has done that, you can't see me. Showing all that. I like the physical stuff. Brother Kofi is touching your back. You know that this corner that this man has taken you to in the corner. That I'm talking about the ethical matters first. You see, so the examples I'm giving are on what we would think of as ethics, which, according to Plato and others like him, are truths or propositions that you already know. These are known a priori. It's not society telling you that it's wrong for you to be in that corner there in that car with that man who is somebody's husband. You already know before even society decided to say it is wrong or right. That's why I use the ethical ones, because I'm speaking the person's perspective. We can come later to the metaphysical ones. Every event must have a cause. Man has free will and all that. But he says, you know it all. Yet the touch, body no be firewood. That simply means the body is not like firewood, which has no feelings. You are allowing the sense of touch to get into the better of your reasoning. You are not allowing reason, non-physical, to drive your decisions. Insofar as it is in this container, you know that that food on the table is not yours. Appetite. Appetite. As soon as they opened it, you say, oh, this one, I'll take it. You want to eat because you are seeing. And this body that I told you, we have to take care of it, yes, but it is a distraction. Now, which food are you going to show our friend Achu now? Christian Achu, the Ghanaian, footballer that unfortunately was involved in the Turkey earthquake thing. We all had hope. People prayed. Yesterday, I was discussing with level 400. We're doing God and the question of evil as one of our contemporary issues. People prayed. Congregations prayed because we still couldn't find a brother. And so there was hope. If you've not found the body, you could find it in a hospital or somewhere. My brother. Someone said, it is 6 to 6 fasting in Nigeria. So the 6 to 6 fasting didn't go listen. You won't have the sense of pain, the sense of anger. How did you slap me? You stepped on my toe. All these things is the body. It distracts you from having clarity of what is just. So the judge wants to pass a judgment, but she's seeing that the person coming is her son. Yes. So the person you say knocked down someone that they said, is this person the one you're talking to? Yes. And you look and it's your son. You looked. Look. Eyes. You saw the food. That's why somebody is clearly administering injustice to society because he heard. This is the point we make, or we're trying to make when we talk about the corruption of the senses. And these are all Plato's viewpoints. Not that he's saying the senses don't give you any information, but the information coming through these channels corrupt your clear view, one of you said it, of the real good, the real bad, the real just, the real beauty, etc. It has been bled by the trauma of birth. You forgot. Then you have come into the world now, and all you have to depend on is the senses. But that shouldn't be, because you could reflect. If you're a spiritual person, you say you could meditate. I told you in that recording, those who do artistic work, even church, and I'm talking about things that don't depend so much on physics. When you are going to do those things, they need time. Sometimes they block themselves for everyone. They are in the room so that the distractions that come from the body, I'm talking about distraction as in DISTRAC, not destroying, not distraction as a destroy, from destroy. No, talking about distraction as taking my attention from something. The body, you want to pray, you are hungry. You see, as soon as you waited, because the more you are putting pressure on the body, de-emphasizing the body. That's why some people would even barber their hair then. I mean, they won't wash. Have you seen John the Baptist in the Bible? That's how he was described. He will even come to live amongst people. He's in the bush eating locust, like blackberry. You can imagine how he will come across when he comes to the city. Amutumpa with anointing. He will have armpit with anointing because he wants to be so detached from the regular. So you are in some room away waiting. I'm using that to help you see the point. Then that is the time the neighbor will go and fry chicken. Spice it, Fantini. Steam it. 12 midnight, she's steaming chicken. When you are fasting and waiting upon them, if you didn't have a nose to smell, will it even be a distraction? That's the whole point. So roll back to the screen now. I'm on screen, my slides now. I hope you can see my slides. Please react if you can. I want to know if you can see the slides. I
Yes,
have
please, I
projected
can.
outline. Thank you very much. Some points of clarification. We want you to know that there are certain things in Plato's philosophy that demonstrates that he is a rationalist in the technical sense of it, the epistemological sense of it. Please read for me. Let me call someone. Amachi Ruda. Okay, Richard Ofosu's hand is up, so I guess we should call Richard Ofosu Ano. So go ahead. That name also sounds familiar. You read in class for me or not? Right? Talk in class. You read. I'll let you read the whole. I'll be scrolling. So look, okay, so that it will be a complete thought before I come in, so that when someone is playing back, they can get the whole thing. So please go ahead.
Okay. Clarification one. Know the difference between a rationalist and a general sense of it, and a rationalist in the strict or technical sense of the term. Content. The general sense of the term rational simply reasoning, reflecting, criticizing, examining an issue, etc. Before arriving at the conclusion. In this sense of the term, both empiricists and the strict rationalists adopt a rational approach to philosophical study. Clarification 2. Any rationalists believe that at least some knowledge or truth about actual existence, non-linguistic, non-analytic, is acquired through reasoning independently of sense experience. That means even the conscious rationalists admit that sense experience plays a role in the acquisition of knowledge. To bracket, what role will depend on the specific author. Clarification 3. Note that the rationalist claims that at least some truth about experience, into brackets, non-linguistic truth, are known independently of experience. The preceding statement is what empiricists vehemently disagree with. The empiricist position is that truth about experience, into brackets, non-analytic or non-linguistic truth, like all other truth, can be sourced from experience. On the certainty of linguistic or non-informative truth, most rationalists and empiricists may not disagree that linguistic truth, to bracket, analytic or definition, non-informative statements, logical, are absolutely universal or necessarily true by meaning, definition, or logical structure. Even the strictest empiricists accept that we may not need to ascertain the truth of such analytic or logical truth, but they insist that it is ultimately sourced from experience. There is nothing in the mind that was not first in the senses. The senses put it in the mind before the mind connected them to arrive at the logical truth.
Very good, sir.
Madam.
Now, look at a very important point that our friend makes here. When I read the fact that Plato's philosophy has features that make him rationalist, I quickly tell you that I refer to rationalist as an epistemological theory about the basis of knowledge. So I had to clarify immediately to help you, even though it's already implicit all this while, that when I use the word rational, I could have it could connote a general sense of the word, and it could also refer to what? A technical sense of the word, technical meaning. We are using it as what philosophers would in epistemology. Whereas the first sense of it is talking about the everyday use of the word. So what is the difference? Look at the general sense of the word rational. That's what your friend read. So I asked him to read through to the fifth or so slide. Then it is easier. Watch on your screen now. When I say philosophy is a rational enterprise, it means what? We apply reasoning, reflection, criticizing, examining issues, etc. That's that. That's the methodology. We reflect, we ask questions, we examine a matter, we evaluate, we judge, we criticize or critique. All these put together would constitute a rational approach to knowledge. We don't go to the lab to burn Bunsen burners, to do litmus tests and what have you. No, that's laboratory work. We use our brains to do rational activity. You see, I'm using the word rational. This is the general sense of the word rational. What is it? Reflection, examination, critiquing, reasoning. In this sense of the word rational, even the empiricists adopt that. Whether I'm rationalist or empiricist, I will adopt the approach of reflection, question asking, examination when I'm doing philosophy. Okay, so that is the generic sense of it, not the strict sense of it that we are going to use in epistemology now. So just for you to have that clarification. The strict sense of rational or rationalist is where you are talking about the source of knowledge and you don't think it is the senses. You think it is mind or intellect or reason. And therefore, you are labeled as rationalist. In this sense of it, look on your screen now. It becomes the technical meaning of the word rational in epistemology. So when you are labeled rationalist as an epistemological position, you're speaking the technicality of it. Okay. So on your screen, and this is what we've been doing since we started, that's a clarification too. Any rationalist then, in the technical sense of it, as an epistemological position, believes that at least some knowledge or truth about actual existence, you have beefed it up. So watch. At least some knowledge about actual existence is acquired through reason, independently of sense experience. So a rationalist would believe that at least some knowledge about actual existence, not linguistic truth. You see, not linguistic truth, not language truth. A bachelor has beaten his wife. Truth, kind of. No. That one, whether rationalist or empiricist, we already accept it to be false. If I say a bachelor has beaten his wife, I know that to be false, whether I'm empiricist or not, without looking. I don't have to use my senses. As in, I go and see and hear and touch or taste to be able to tell whether that statement is true or false. Take note. I will accept it to be false a priori, even though I'm empiricist. Because it is based on the language, it's a linguistic truth. If I said 2 plus 3 equals 5, don't tell me that, oh, but you are an empiricist. 2 plus 3 is 7. I tell you, no, but that is not correct. 2 plus 3 has to be 5. Then you say, oh, you're empiricist. You have to come and see first. You come and count my orange. No. If you said there were 2 oranges and you added 3 extra oranges, it can't be 7. Say, but you have to observe. Aren't you the one who says we must see before we believe? No, I don't have to see or hear or touch or taste when I'm dealing with concepts, like mathematical concepts. And yet I'm empiricist. Am I contravening or undermining my empiricist position? No, not at all. When it comes to linguistic truth, language-based, my screen now, analysis-based, analytic truth, definitions, logical structure, even the empiricists will not go and observe before, because that is not in contention. He will also accept them to be known what? A priori, prior to experience. Then how are they still able to be called empiricists? Empiricists because the source of those ideas that have been put together that I'm applying a priori, those ideas were still sourced from what? Experience. So he's still empiricist. But the point I want to show you is that that contention, what they are pulling their heads over as empiricists versus rationalists, is not about linguistic truths. Because that one, even if I'm the staunchest empiricist, I don't need to observe to ascertain the truth or falsity of mathematical statement, for example. It's not observation that tells me that. I don't have to go and see, hear, touch, taste, or smell. I can work with the meanings and sit in my office and say, I won't go out to see. If you say the person who beat his wife is a bachelor, what you said is already false. I say, hey, now you empiricist, but you even see. No, I don't have to see. Because what you are saying is linguistic in nature. I think that is sorted. So the real disagreement, in other words, what is actually bordering the two views, which makes one person stand at the left side, and the other person stands at the right side. It's not about language, like linguistic truth or analytic truth. Okay, what is it then? It is about the actual existence statement that claim makes it. In other words, I want to make it simple before I introduce analytic and synthetic. Okay, so statements that make a claim about existence. Yeah, not statements that are empty of content, redundancies, logical redundancies. No, a statement that says Kofi is a boy, for example. It is informing you. It is telling you something that is true or false about existence. So experiential or existential truth. How do we know such claims? God exists. We're talking about a being having existence. I'm not just repeating A is A or B is B. Those are logical redundancies. I'm not saying a bachelor has beaten his wife. It will be false, whether I see the bachelor or I don't see the bachelor, because of the meanings. It's not an existential claim. If I say A is A, Chacha is Chacha, Chocho is Chocho, do you have to see the Chocho to know that it is Chocho? Whatever you call caricature. If I say caricature is caricature, that is necessarily true. I don't have to see what caricature is. So far as I said caricature is caricature, I'm just being tautologous. I'm repeating myself. Remember the law of identity. So I haven't said anything new. I don't need to verify, and yet it will be necessarily take note of that word, necessary truth. It will be necessarily true. Okay, that wherever I go, caricature will be caricature. So that is not the issue. But if I said Kofi, I didn't say A is A statement that has that form, but I said A is B. In other words, Kofi is a boy. If I say Kofi is Kofi, it has a format that I have discussed so far. If I say Kofi is a boy, Kofi is a lecturer, Kofi has traveled. This one is making a claim about experience, something about experience. That's what I put there. Actual existence, experiential truth. Now, where the rationalist view is the view that says or believes that at least there is some knowledge about actual existence that we know independently of experience. The thing is an experiential truth, yet we know it independently or prior to experience. How can that happen? Empiricists will ask, how? If the thing is experiential truth, something that is making a claim of existence or experience, how can you say you know it prior to or independently of experience? The thing is about experience. You say you know it before experience. How? That is the bone of contention. Not that the two people are stupid, the two viewpoints, rationalists versus. No, no, no. One group says, how can you be claiming or making claims about what? Actual experience. And yet you say we know its knowledge prior to or independently of experience. Rationalists say, yeah, yes, there can be such knowledge. Maybe not all knowledge, but there can be at least some that are like that. Empiricist says, nah, lie. Every knowledge would ultimately have to have been acquired, sourced, originated from what? Senses. If it is sensory knowledge in Quadia, they even include analytic truth, obviously, except that it is not in contention because it still has a priorness to it. Analytic truth, I mean. Okay. So that is the contention. So clarification 2 on your screen, which your friend read, says any rationalist believes. This is the technical and epistemological view that we have been studying in this course so far, opposed to empiricism. What does it say? The rationalist believes that at least some knowledge or truth about actual existence, that is knowledge that is non-linguistic and it is non-analytic. Such knowledge is acquired through reason independently of sense experience. Now, on your screen, I want to continue. I can take your questions. That means even the staunchest rationalist admits that sense experience plays a role in the acquisition of knowledge. No two ways about it. Your friends told you that in this discussion. It triggers it, it sparks it. The role it plays, though, will depend on the specific author. So for Plato, whom we are studying now, sense experience only what triggers it, but it doesn't constitute the origin because knowledge itself is not physical. Plato thinks of knowledge as an entity, as a thing. Knowledge is not a state of being. Knowledge is a thing. So absolute true knowledge. That's why the knowledge of the forms, the ideas, what have you. Anyway, I'm not doing Plato's philosophy too much. So clarification 3, what is it? Note that the rationalist claims that at least some truth about experience, now you know, you understand that, are known independently of experience. The preceding statement is what empiricists vehemently disagree with. Your friend read it, and I've already explained that. If it is knowledge, says the empiricist, then it only can be sourced, source, origin, root can only be sourced from experience. And that is what we gave a highlight there, that there is nothing in the mind that was not first in the senses, says what? The empiricist, reacting to the rationalist. Some examples will do, unless there are questions. I took you all the way to where your friend got to, where he was helping you see what is in the slides by reading them for me. Emmanuel Tibila, do you have any questions? Amachi Rhoda, any questions? Angelina Guazi, Asari Boachi, Bernard Parkon. Okay, any questions, please? Eunice Asari, any questions? One of you read for me then. Raise your hand if you want to read, please. If you want to read, please raise your hand. Florence Na Kujo, please read.
Examples of linguistic or non-informative truths. All barking dogs bark. A triangle has 3 sides. A is A. These
Very
are
good.
true. These are true by meanings, definition, or logical structure. This means such truths have no bearing or actual existence. They are not informative, into bracket, form, but not content. They are true based on the meanings, definitions, etc. They are certain, but are they a prior or posterior?
Very good. Think about it. You tell me all barking dogs bark. You think that is information you have given me? You haven't added anything. You just repeated yourself. If you are saying it is a barking dog, then what should it do? It should bark. All flying birds fly. What have you said? It's tautologous. So if the thing presents as if it is giving you information, it is just repeating itself. No information. If I say critical thinking is when you are critical in your thinking, what have I said? Nothing. I didn't add any information. It's linguistic, or if like better still, non-informative. Doesn't add. This is not synthetic. This is analytic. By analysis, by breaking the very statement down, it will be clear. But if it is synthetic, and ladies, you know that it means you go outside of the original hair and go and borrow and come and carry. Synthetic, it means you are not repeating the very original, you are adding. There is an amplification. So let's use the subject and predicate thing. Maybe it can be helpful. If I have a statement that says, instead of saying A is A, if I had said A is B, then the B is adding to the quality of A, property of A. Okay, so a predicate like Kofi is Kofi. It's only repetitive. It's analytic. A is A. This one is true by meanings, definitions, or logical structure. It has no bearing on actual existence. It doesn't speak to actual existence of anything. Lady, please read this. I've said all of the others. Thank you.
One, rash, rash, rationalists believe that there are at least some non-linguistic truths, synthetic or informative systems that are known a prior or independently of existence. Examples: every event must have a cause. It is wrong to kill indiscriminately. Two, empiricists think that all truths, linguistic and non-linguistic, are ultimately solved from existence. Linguistic or logical truths may be necessary and universal, analytic, yet they are known a posterior.
Did you understand? So for the empiricists, what we call a priori truth, which I told you, you know it independently of experience. The strict empiricists will tell you before you gathered it, before you knew that a bachelor has beaten his wife is a contradiction by the language of it. You had already gathered the ideas from what experience. That is why even here captured it as what? You know it a posteriori. So there seem to have been what? A bridge. If it is synthetic, that is an experiential statement. Kofi is sitting under the tree, for example. It is a truth about experience, observation based, so to speak. If it is a synthetic truth where the predicate is adding to the subject, it's not just repeating the subject. A is A, backing dogs back. Eh? Those ones are what? Repetitive. So they are redundancies. If you play the earlier record, you see they are logical redundancies. They are not adding anything. But if it's synthetic, the subject will have amplification from the predicate. So subject and predicate, the predicate will say something more additional to the subject. In other words, it gives you information. The point we are making is, so the thinking that spearheaded the debate was this. Synthetic truths were seen as a posteriori. I hope you saw that. If it is about experience, then we will know it through experience. Big words, nothing much. So synthetic was supposedly known a posteriori, whilst analytic truths, language-based, were supposedly known a priori. So that would have been the categorization. If synthetic truth, then known a posteriori. If analytic truth, then it is known a priori. I hope you are not confused. Until Immanuel Kant comes to bridge the gap. Now, the rationalist, though, wants to suggest that we can have synthetic truth, yes, which originally should have been known a posteriori. There is a thought that no, there can be synthetic truth that we know prior to experience, a priori. How did we know? Plato and his cohort, for example, would say, we know it innately by our rational nature. So I already know it before I even became a human being and grew up to walk around. That is why I already know it before experience. Okay, if you got that, then that was the contention there, synthetic a priori. But you see how Immanuel Kant comes to argue for that. Thank you very much, my lady. Can I have someone else continue for me, please? To read, that is. Thank you, Mariam, sir. Mohammed, you're standby. Mariam, please read for me.
Plato has not claimed that experience plays absolutely no role in the acquisition of knowledge.
Continue, please.
Plato continued. But Plato believed that the only proper object of knowledge, or the only thing that can really be known is this means for Plato, we can have no real knowledge of what about us. The relative and fluctuating world of the camp of this world, we have only opinion, not knowledge, no certainty.
I'm sure you heard what your lady has read from even your colleagues, and I interspersed it. And so that's the starting point of what would make Plato rationalist. One, Madame read it. Knowledge proper is not physical. Knowledge is intellectual. Okay, non-physical. That is what knowledge is. That's why we can't know by the physical, says Plato. Remember the world of forms versus the world of appearance. Two, he has not said that the senses don't play any role at all. No, the senses have a role to play. Swish. If I see a beautiful sister, because she participates in the form of beauty, the form is the reality, but she participates in it, it can help me get a better view in remembering what beauty provides. All these things I'm saying came from you yourselves. Okay. So senses have a role to play. But the thing is, we cannot rely on such relative and fluctuating. If your light at home started fluctuating, didn't you give them the name Doomso? All your gadgets will go bad. I mean, if the thing is black, then you know it's black out. Then you start looking for some firewood or something. Logician church, if it is hot, let it be hot. If it is cold, let it be cold. So that we know if it's hot, you can use it to do lifting. If it's cold, you can use it to freeze your fresh fish. But this a little hot, a little cool, that is Plato's problem with what the senses give us, empirical knowledge. It fluctuates. Today we have 9 planets. The next time they are 12. Now they are 8. Later they are 7.5. COVID has done this. You need another shot. Then you go for another shot. Then no, now it has to be. Now they are telling us to wear those masks again. What should we do? Cry. Is it anybody's fault? No, it's an empirical matter. What they thought they knew, they go investigate again. It has changed. God is playing Sismiludu and changing the dice. Oh, now it's just changing my mind. I'll do it again that way. not change my mind in the negative sense. Because the person has observed and knows that from this weather condition and this to rain tomorrow. And tomorrow the sun shines. The point is relativity and fluctuating physical world around us. The same yogurt you are enjoying. Me. Because you have malaria. We go eat the same thing. You say it's bitter. You are driving, thought you saw a pool of water. If you are driving on the highway and the sun is shining, watch. You think it's a pool of water ahead. You get there, it's a mirage. All these things that we have seen from Plato through Descartes and what have you, questioning the certainty with which you can attach, or the certainty you can attach to supposed physical substance. Nankasa Don is sitting there asking for a sausage and kebab. No, we can't establish with certainty what is offered by the senses, says Plato. I'm recounting Plato, but I just want to use a lot of practical example. How do we establish with certainty that we know that he killed the MP? That we know, when we couldn't find our friend, that we know for certain that is how? How do you do it empirical? This ever fluctuating. That's what I need to do. So I need, today is true, the next minute is false. Today is attentionate ammonia when that will kill mosquito. Then the next day say it's not that, it's chloroquine. And after chloroquine, they say atamita lumifantrin. Charlie, how do you claim you know the cure for chloroquine, for malaria? But malaria, then I'm kicking. The whole thing is funny. We can say this is the opinion we have. Remember, that's it. Right? Inside the cave, we are speaking Plato. It can be a belief. Plato. Some are illusions. It's not there. Because of your grandmother, this, did this, that. Plato says, in the physical world of appearance, which is in the cave that we studied in level 100, Plato's two worlds, nothing that you are receiving there is true knowledge. No, nothing. You may get glimpses of it, like the way you peep out of a window and look a little and then enter. You see glimpses. But if you want, there we go, the next slide. My lady, constant, uninterrupted, absolute knowledge, not opinion, not a point of view matter, not this is how I see it. No, knowledge. Knowledge is one, says Plato. So remember how he distinguishes the reality from what? The appearance of it. See how his metaphysics fits into his epistemology and even his sociopolitical philosophy? Yes. What the reality is inspires how it will be known. So the real is non-physical. You want to know it? I mean, we are talking about a non-physical witch that is eating you up. You have gone to take physical cane that you will whip the witch in the spirit. Say, Jimmy, sir, my people. How? Unless you tell me that what I'm dealing with is not spiritual. You see that I've used the word now, not intellectual. If you tell me that, then it makes sense for me to take the cane, because it might be a physical wall gecko that comes. So the cane will come and you lash the wall gecko, who is the embodiment of that thing you are dealing with. No problem. But if you tell me that true knowledge, the real, and you hear, I want to bring it to light and connect for analogy. The world and everything in it is passing away. I say some and you say some too. It's not real. What happens to everything that was in the building, that big building that collapsed like that? Buildings, I should say. What has happened? They have become rubble. That four wheel that you don't want anybody to touch. My sister, it's just a matter of time. I bet than it is ash. Ash. We can't even find body to go and bury. Body. See how we prayed to find our brother's body. Okay, there's the body. To at least bring home, and then we know that our friend lived in this container for a while, so we give it a befitting laying to rest. Think about it. Hey, touch me, don't touch me. Shit, am I your class? They can't find some of the bodies. They are in the rubble there. The real you, the real me. We don't change. It is one. Knowledge. So the real table is one. This is Plato. Real fan, one. Real human being, one. An idea of it. The concept of it. Now I'm doing a 100 revision too. It's one. Knowledge is simple. It's not complex. Simple meaning one unit. Think of it as a unit. Beauty is one. But particular beautiful things, innumerous. So a beautiful girl, a beautiful house, a beautiful phone, a beautiful atmosphere, a beautiful church, beautiful plenty things. They are participating in what? The idea, the concept, the form, capital F, of what? Beauty. So the particular will change. Change is a necessity for the physical world. If you like, buy a new, I told them, I think I put that also in the other session. Buy a new designer, I don't know what you love, a coat or something, suit, eh? Don't wear it like some people do. They buy something, they have kept it 700 years. Yeah, all my clothes, I've given them to people. People need it to wear now. I say they are packing for who? This WhatsApp children. You think they are coming to wear that your old clothes? Be proactive. Think. For patterns. Because in tomorrow, that cloth you are keeping in the suitcase like that, someone needs it now to cover themselves. They are feeling cold. You have to give to who? That time, do you know the cloth that will be there for people to design? Maybe that cloth can talk. When you open it, then to come and wrap you. Because technology is moving. You are buying some old cloth. Because of that, people are killing them. Look at what is happening upstairs in Ghana. What? What is it about? Huh? Then people will go and get land guards to protect a quarter plot of land. Hey, think, reflect. You are a philosopher, you're a thinker. So far as we are in the container, I told you, you have to learn. If you don't learn, well, how will you get no coffee and eat? This body has to eat. So we will live, pay school fees here a little, go and buy handout, read, we'll do. But the essence, we don't lose it. You don't get so distracted that it is the length of your nails that you are so fixated on, that you don't care how you are treating someone else's daughter. Who is your roommate? You don't care about the essential things that transcend the physical. Your nails, even banks have, have been submerged. They have entered the land like that. We can't find them. So all this small 10,000 that you have in your purse, because of that, you won't let other people breathe. You have forgotten justice. You have forgotten goodness. You have forgotten, fellow feeling, solidarity. You've gone to get 7 people, pay them, and they are behaving like dogs around 1/4 plot of land. Think about it. In the name of guarding a land that you didn't create. What is your heartbeat? The man says, look on the screen, I'm teaching Plato. The constant distraction of the body is what is obstructing our view of what is really important. I tell you, you look at the monks. I'm not saying we should all go and be monks. I mean, we have to. But look at John the Baptist. I referenced him earlier. Those who like church, you are the people I'm referencing, like me. Those two like the other, boom, 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 jack, boom, 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 jack, and then what? Where is Terrible Jack? Is he not gone? Where is our sister, Ebony? Where is she? She's gone. So it means that there is something beyond the physical that Plato says. That is what your focus should be on. And there you can, if you are always concerned about that, you see that you reflect, you transcend, you climb out of the cave of the physical. You try, you share on hustle. You don't let what you heard make you shirt or because you heard something, you have taken off your shirt, you're going to fight. Oh, you can't have self-control. Do you know why? Because you hear too much. These things corrupt. That's the whole point. They make you feel bad. Sometimes the way the sister is even telling you what she says is a good thing. She's exposing something to it. What she's doing is rather the corruption. Hey, me, the way I saw your guy and this lady, well, Obwa. Not that Obwa said what she's saying is not true. But what is it doing to you? Close the channel, or better still, sieve it. See, now I'm speaking scripture. So, what you want to hear is what you will hear. What you want to affect you is what you will let affect you. So Plato's talk, where one person in the economy has gathered more than half of the resources and put in his or her own account and is enjoying with his or her family. In this world that will not, when you are about after 80, everybody is watching you. You are keeping too long, madam or massa. It's just respect that they can. Maybe 90, give the person 90. After 90 years, Charlie, the body nankasa is giving away. Eh? The day the person passes, you see that everybody will thank you, Jesus, we give you glory because you are blessed. The person can talk. Sitting in the wheelchair, sitting there. If you remember how she was fresh and posh, and how she's sitting in the chair there, can't breathe. Every day you have to go and give her cocoa, small cocoa, 2 spoons. You will struggle. She's not dead. But she's not alive. This thing was sitting there. Transition, naka. We are just waiting that the person will go quiet. The day they go, you say, thank you, Jesus. Is that this world that we are transitioning like this? Actually, 80, if you are lucky. Now it is 33. Look at our friend. It's so timely. Look at his age. Even he can look at the life, at least from the testimonies we are hearing. Then you and I, who will fight over Apple? Apple. Huh? So bring the discussion of Plato to life. He says it is only death, that's the last paragraph down there, that can stop our souls. Some will call it mind, some will call reason, which have been entrapped. You heard that from your friends, okay, in this physical body. From the contamination by what? The distortions, illusions, and relativities of the sensible world. There are distortions. Someone will say, then should we live in this world at all? We should. You do choose to be in the world you find yourself in. You should leave that unanswered question in your heart and humbly seek for answers. You'll find them. But this arrogance that tries to say that, oh, there's nothing, hey, Charlie, hey, it is this one. No, that's arrogance. A humble posture into life should tell you that you didn't make a choice to come. So some people are reflecting and they think that, look, the physical container that we have is only holding it like the envelope holding Madam's cash, like the polythene bag that is holding what? Your goodies from the party. It is so important to hold the rubber well because of what you know is inside it. But if you finally get in there, death, watch, and you take the goodies out or the milk tin, you hold the tin firmly when you buy it from the shop, provision shop, because of what is inside. Sisters, it is because of what is inside that the brother is after you. If you let him pour it all out, remember I said that in the 100, he pours it and says, the container is useless to go into the bin. Sometimes how we even throw it into the bin, designer. I'll be far away that I told that boom, there's basket. When I finish eating the banana inside, you see how I throw away the peel? How we get angry. Who put the peel here? Yes. You are only useful, this is a drift, only useful for what you contribute. If you let every value inside you become baller, you are worthy for the baller. Word to the wise is enough. Now back to Plato. So this is Plato's point, and he says it is in death that happens. So when you hear Paul in the Bible say, "As for me to live is Christ, to die is gain," then you see the wisdom he's speaking. When Jesus advises, until the seed dies, or better, let me use the one that you are familiar with. When he says, "I have to take up my cross daily and die," you think what? You shall surely die. And Adam was walking. So there is something that is being communicated that even our philosophers here are emphasizing. Die to the self. Die. The dead man lying there who was brought to Ghana recently, our brother. When we were singing this, so he didn't get up and bow to the president. So thank you for all this honor you are doing. He's dead. So the song is going on, but he's dead. They are cheating him, but he's dead because he's looking for a greater, something better. His shoe is one, but he wears it with confidence to the lecture hall because he's looking out for the essentials. If after first 4 years, yeah, they say come and parade yourselves, and you come and you get your first class, you think we'll be remembering that your shoe that was only one or your slippers that was one? You will see the kind of people who before. Have you seen how some brothers' faces are like mugu? Apologies, respectfully. I want to make it funny. And yes, some sisters are dying over. If you look at the sisters dying over this brother, you are shocked. But he's a footballer, maybe dusted, but the face, maybe not the one we choose. But there's something. Sometimes not even dusted. It's exposed. Getting associated with him, keke, can open shops for you because you can use him to do marketing. The point is, get the essentials. Listen to Plato and get the essentials done. So what is the essence of a book? Or what is the essence of a pen if it doesn't write? What is important is it must write. I tell and I'm going to market big now. I don't know anybody there. Buy big pen. A better it will write for you. No designer pen that is expensive. It doesn't write well. What's the essence of a car? It must move from one place to the other. If there's air conditioning inside, oh, glory. We will love it. It makes the journey better for Ghana. But Charlie, so far as it is not okulampi that we can push, no AC, we'll get natural AC. If it is hot, we'll manage, but it must move. Essentially speaking, a car must move me from one end to the other. That is its essence. You towards the essence of a student, how long your hair is. If you can afford it, why not? Change it every week. After all, the envelope too is important. I said it. But if you can't, build a strong internal image of yourself and focus on what matters, the essence. Plato says. I want one of you to read Why True Philosophers Desire Death. And I've already explained that this death here may not necessarily have to be the physical death, though that is what Plato, was emphasizing. The physical is taken away from the physical so that the obstructions of the physical body doesn't interfere with, but you can now figuratively relate it to toning down more on what is what bodily, physical, and focusing more on what is what the non-physical. So the guy's shoe, when he came to approach you, my lady, may not be too nice. And guys too, sometimes you too, why yellow tie, black shoe, green belt? Why? What is this? Hey, traffic light. It's not pleasant. Maybe you can help him. But perhaps the person has vision or kasa. You can see that this guy, when he has this one, all this area, if we could do plantations, and we do these animals here, you can see that the person has vision. He's not thinking of how to steal money. Say, okay, this guy makes a mistake and drops the money, but we don't want to say Akwawi. But the person has vision, is committed, cares for you, is concerned. You have to look beyond the physical. But if the person comes physically fine, posh, and mentally, intellectually, and if you like, spiritually apt, then you got a better deal. No two ways about it. But where you have to make a decision between the two, because body will change. whether you do something to it or not. So the suit you hang in your, I was referencing the suit and I got distracted. That suit, if you like, don't buy it. You love suit, buy it and hang it in the wardrobe. Don't do it. Don't touch it. Don't do it. 3 years time, go and see if it will be the same. As soon as you bought it, they started being destroyed by itself. Physical things change. It's not something that causes it to change. That is what it is. It is fluctuating. Your smooth skin will become wrinkled or tom Brakofi and Sister Adra. Whether you use all the whatever in the world, it will change. This Bobby spanner, 2 mountains on your chest, auntie, it will fall. No matter what, it will fall down. Gather it and put it up. It will fall again. Go and pump it for all you like. No worries. If money is there, you want to, and you think you are okay with it, no problem. But it will fall because it's physical. Okay. What is permanent is non-physical. If I asked you to use practical illustrations from Plato, illustrations, the law court, everyday life, family systems, what have you, I could create a question around that because philosophy must respond to everyday problems. Kwame Jechi. You can't do philosophy and talk all abstract and we are all happy knowing that we know and it doesn't connect to everyday life. No, I don't teach philosophy like that. So you should be able to bring the rationalism of Plato to life. And then if you have a critique or critiques, you do a good critique of him and that's fine. You don't have to necessarily accept everything, but you must understand what he's saying and put flesh to it. Targeting the wisest of people you can think of, wise grandpa, or at the same time, little children who engage this. You can connect it and show the child that this is the wisdom in what we just studied. That what is really knowledge may not be what you think you saw or what you think you heard. We need that to gather and reflect, but reflection, the fact that you saw someone put the money in their socks whilst they were playing the ball, let's say the referee one, okay, some people do too, why? But it doesn't necessarily the emphasis mean that the person is corrupt. Where should I put it? When I'm running on the field, some put it in their brazier, ladies. How does that mean necessarily that you have got a thief? Great. Let's have someone read. We are done. I'll take, thank you so much. I see good hands up now. I'll take Mohammed Sani Nafisa. Please read for me, sir. I want to take a sip of water. Mohammed, are you there or you have gone to sleep? If Mohammed is not there or is struggling to come on, let's take Collins Dakun. Vicky, be on standby. Okay, Mohammed, go ahead. I think, go ahead, Mohammed.
Why?
Why true desire death? Until that happy day of separation of soul and body comes when the soul will finally be set free from the body. Only then will it come into the uninterrupted enjoyment of absolute knowledge of the world of truth and reality forms. Until then, we must minimize as much as possible the contaminations of the senses. Senses disdain when it comes to the acquisition of true knowledge. Plato continued, innate ideas. Even in this world, true knowledge is only possible because it is innate, inborn, fundamental ideas or principles are built right into the mind itself and require only to be developed and brought to maturity. Example, mathematical concepts, triangles, equality, largeness, moral concepts, goodness, virtue, pity, metaphysical truth, causality, etc. Plato continued, knowledge as recollection. The only way to account for this knowledge is to believe that prior to its embodiment in this world, the soul was in the presence of the forms, was in the presence of the forms, where it acquired knowledge of the realities, including knowledge of equality, pre-existence. This knowledge was lost or forgotten through the trauma of birth, taught to some degree, recollected, subsequent to birth on the occasion of our experience with a particular instance of equality or beauty, for example. Note, the role of sense experience after all in the process of recollecting what is already known. Questions to reflect on. What is analytic truth and synthetic truth? Verse a priori and a posteriori. Does Plato's theory of recollection grant an advantage to the empiricist? Why or why not? Research on the possible counter responses to Plato's theory of innate ideas. Prompt Locke's critique of Plato's theory of innate ideas. Children, idiots.
Okay, I think it's good. We are done. Do you have any questions or any reaction? Thank you, my lady. I told you the name was a gentleman. So when you started talking, I wanted to stop you. But later I saw that the name is Nafisa. You brought your surname first. Okay. So it's good.
Yes.
Thank you. Please, my people, I have Madam read 3 extra slides. I think I have dealt with almost all of them. So I didn't want to talk again. I get passionate a little when I talk about such things. Okay. So we have delivered the content proper. Why would it make sense to say that true knowledge comes only in death? In other words, why will a true thinker, philosopher doesn't mean necessarily the one who does philosophy. There are people who have never stepped foot into any tertiary institution. Grandpas and grandmas, our elderly sages, they are thinkers. They are philosophers. They are problem solvers. They are critical minds. So a philosopher is one that is reflecting on fundamental questions of life and proffering responses to them. We are blessed to have been able to enter into an institution that has collated and gathered resources from different personalities that did that. We are studying. That's the only difference. When you say you have come to school and studying philosophy, okay? And so why would true philosophers desire that? Not just that the elderly, they don't fear that. They even start talking about it. Me, where I've reached, after all, what do I have left? When you live with an elderly person, they start talking that way. Be minded. They almost cry. You didn't cry. They are telling you that I'm on my way out. They are not too please, hey, the car, is it going to? No. They lie down peacefully and go. Especially those who didn't disturb people too much on this earth, I think. Right. So why would they desire that? When you see it all, sometimes when the young folks are jumping all over, you say, what an elderly person will see whilst sitting. Exuberant, youthfully exuberant, and lack of self-control youth will not see. Even if they climb to the top of an oak tree, they won't see. But the elderly person will just be sitting down watching. You think you are fast. and smart. You know what's up, madam? It's just a matter of time. Bruh, it's just a matter of time. So yeah, won't you know, that kind of thing. Now, why would they desire, or why would a true thinker desire that? Me, I'm a true thinker, but this kind of death in the end, you should wait a little. The one that I can manage is the one that will work on. You don't want to be moved too much by what you heard or what you saw, unless it is positive and it aids your what reflection. Don't let the emotions and the desire for certain things, and clout and pride of life. And we all do that. We all have our secret. We may not be going after somebody's husband or things like that, but some people have ego, and it is really pride. All of us. So there's a thin line between affirmation and pride, or assertiveness and arrogance. And so we all have to work on it. But the point is the desire for death, as in separation. That's what Adam suffered. A disconnect of what? The intellectual part, the part that relates with the forms, the non-physical. He was cut off from it. So he was dead. And so in the world, there are a lot of dead people. Cain was dead, but he built a city. People say, but the man went, and God said, he has been mad. No. So the whole time when he looked down, he couldn't see any living thing. He was looking for someone to resurrect them. People don't know. So death died to the self, separation of what? Your physical body and all of its baggage. Why? Because it is that one that gets hurt. Have you seen two souls fighting before? Maybe they do, we don't see. But two souls fighting over a sister, you won't even feel, you won't see, you won't desire. That is what we are made to believe. I said, thinkers said that. Then when you are not sure about this, then go into your faith so that you leave Plato alone. Go into your scripture, whether Christian or Muslim or Akanka, Hare Krishna, Buddhist, the different. Look inside and see whether they are not saying things that are even quote and unquote more weird than this. This is a philosopher, I think, perhaps capturing his own version of it. Okay, he says it is only then that we come to the knowledge of what? Take note, not just one knowledge, but the uninterrupted, absolute, okay, knowledge of the true form. That is the highest goal of philosophizing. You attain that. If you want to go to heaven, you want to go to heaven. What is heaven? Someone said, but the way I see it, heaven will be boring power. I said, you don't understand it. So we'll just be there. So after that, then what? So we'll be there. Won't we get tired doing nothing? There's no chaos. Like you will hear, hey, thief, oh, thief, so that we can run and go. And then, action. There will be. We'll just be there like that. To be boring. That's what someone said. The person meant it. You don't understand. The attainment of a certain state of what? What Plato will call knowledge, state of being. When you attain that, that is the fulfillment that you are looking for. Finished. And it doesn't end. Eternity past, eternity present, eternity future. Plato says when we get that, the enjoyment of absolute knowledge of the world of truth and reality, where there is no contamination from the senses. We just read that. And then as for the innateness, we already discussed it when we looked at innate knowledge thesis. And I showed you the connection. See them there, the examples, mathematical truth, moral truth. And then knowledge as recollection. Your friends talked about them. He believes in that. And the way he speaks, we are forced to associate him or associate with him the view of what pre-existence, existence somewhere before taking on flesh. Before you were a blood clot in your mother's womb, I knew you. You knew me as what? Because I had not even taken form. I'm a blood clot. Before Daddy and Mommy did panyai, and I became a clot of blood. You knew me. Then it means I had to have been somewhere as something before I took. That is religion. That is religion, eh? That's Christian faith. God talking to Jeremiah. I can reference that easily. That's why I use them. I wish I knew the other scriptures like that. Like I will go and prove something so that you stop saying, but this Plato guy, Charlie, he be okay. He did fine. Go and look into the religious faith that is so dear to you and it should be dear to you. Whichever version. It says things like that and even more. So I reference it for you to see. Could it be that Plato is making a suggestion, or from the way he's speaking, then there had to have been a world before this physical world. There has to be some world after this physical world as well. That is why we don't cry like people without hope. When someone dies, sometimes they cry. Of course, the separation is difficult. But if you know and you have reflected, you won't still this is transition. People don't frustrate other people's children and other people. Look, it's a transitioning. You're moving from one place to the other. If you have that mindset, will you carry all your trunk, your chobos, your suitcases when you are just transitioning through? I mean, you are moving from Adenta to Tema to go and eat agbamami and come back, for example. If you have that thinking, would you go with your suitcase at home and pack all your shoes and what have you to go and show to who? It's the thinking. People are not reflecting. That's why we do what we do. Economics, politics. Look at how we are throwing bombs from Russia to Ukraine and from Ukraine to Russia. For what? Have you thought about it? Are people thinking about anything like what we are saying? It will make us sober. It will make us put less interest on that thing we are selling. After all, then everyone should eat small. But people are hard. Inflation is high. The farmer has gone for the thing, cheap price, giving it to the first person to come and sell. He put times 10 on it and goes to give big tithe at church. Thief, and causes confusion. Why should we lack in our nation like this? If people are reflecting like we are doing now, perhaps it might inspire how we do things, from economics to the law court, to the politician, to the lecturer, and we will all not be perfect, but we will aspire at perfection. We will have a better view of reality than we are working with. Take note of these questions and let's discuss if you have any questions on them. I wish you well. Is there any question, please? All right. Thank you very much. All the best and take care till we meet next week. I'll grade your assessment at the Sakai and then you get feedback from me. Let me know if you had any concerns with that assessment. As for being absent today, I won't be able to help out. Take care. Thank you, Emmanuel. Be on standby. If I need anything, I'll send you a WhatsApp. They can communicate to the class. All the best.
Okay, Doc. Thank you.
Thank you, Chise. Bye, everyone.